All right, let's get going. What do they say? The crew, are you ready?
Yep.
Co-pilots, ready? All right, let's go. Dorinda is the first one with a question. Greetings, Saken. I want to know if there is a scroll that explains the culture requirements to be a Sabian. I'm coming from Buddhism, not religion, so I'm ready to move forward. Next steps, please. And there's a second part. I feel like we are stuck in the past, but I understand, but need to prepare before it's too late. I'm not promised tomorrow. Thank you. Yeah, so I mean, the first thing to do is if you're in the Telegram group, we have a link to the support, the admin support group on WhatsApp, where we have, brothers and sisters who help you with going through that process of becoming a part of the community, a part of the family. So that's the first step. The master teacher doesn't have one scroll that explains like the requirements to be a Sabian. I mean, the Patarak is the way for us to live as Sabians or Nuwapians. That's the way to live. So that's why we always say to everyone, read the Patarak, the way. And so the scrolls give you the information. But yeah, in terms of becoming a part of a community, it depends where you are as well, and if there is a store or a temple or somewhere already there. If not, then you can still be a part of the online community. And yeah, the admin staff are going to help you, get through that stage. And in fact, what you've just said in the second part prompts me to read something. Let me read something whilst we're waiting for calls. I'm going to read something from this Palahej Shalel Wakut, the language of time. Just a little piece from the introduction, right? It says, you are regaining that knowledge by way of Pa Natharu, the overseers, by way of myself, Pa Nabab Yananan. Now, Pa Natharu, the overseers, have given you all a way of guidance, Pa Tarak, the way, to align your akal, mind, to the sound, right reasoning. Okay? The akal, mind of today's world only reflects detriment, derelicts, debauched and perverted thoughts, fakar at thoughts. Dawaj, evil, has truly been made fair seeming, and the forms of entertainment is a reflection of that demented or diminished mentality, showing the lack of creativity of these disagreeable beings whose objective is to keep you from becoming divine, which you will return to as it is with natural nature. That is who you are. They know this and do everything they can to prevent you from returning to your natural nature, which would lead to rebirth. The Saim, divine you. You must return everything that is not naturally for and to you and give it back. Give everything back to them and reclaim your own, your true self, your language, Nuapui, Nuape, Misbatea, your own land, Nuapia, your own way of life, Wu-Nuwapu, Wu-Sabat, your own masak, music, your own hadab, culture, your own dress, even the fabric you wear. Everything gives off a vibration, color, sound, or tone. All of this affects the tone that your khatat, body, naturally vibrates at and does alter what is natural to you. So if your body vibrates on F and you are constantly exposing your body to another note, higher, more pitchy, it will affect your khatat, your body, down to the molecular level. The very cells of your body can be altered. You must return to your own to become the divine you again. Now, this is very important. Listen to this, and it touches on what you said, Dorinda. Those who have not made this shift will be left behind. Those left behind and the mentally dead will be food for the gods, in the very literal sense of these words. The beings who have gained control of this Mikhab planet and their offspring are preparing for a departure as well, yet have secured food for their journey. Theirs and those of you who choose not to love yourself and have not only sought to live in another's image other than your natural own, yet have given up what they no longer have and have lost long ago, their ba'a, soul. It is the emotional body, nashat, energy in motion, which will propel your ka'a, spirit, to the next plane where they cannot go. Okay, so that was just a little intro to touch on what you're saying, that yes, if you do not, change your vibration, change your ways, change and start to vibrate on these new vibration of nine ether, then you're going to be left behind. All right.
And I've got a question there from Draco.
Okay.
It's saying, how do you pray as Sabaeans? That's a good question. Really, we don't really pray. Prayer, if you check our previous videos, prayer is the art of speaking without listening. Meditation is the art of listening without speaking. So we try to communicate with our ancestors through meditation.
Exactly. And as I just read about the food for the gods, we say the word pray can be prey, where you're becoming a prey, you see, and you become prey by, like if you look at how, a spider, what does it do? It casts a web and then it catches its prey, and prey is for food, you see. So you're praying to these beings. What you don't realize is you're giving off energy to them, because when you're channeling something or focusing or concentrating on something, you're exchanging energy with that thing. So when you're doing that, you're really offering yourself, your energy, to these beings. Okay, so they will actually suck off and subsist off of your energy. So that's what you're doing, because it's not a two-way thing. When you're praying, you're not hearing a response. So you're just exerting energy in one direction, and that's it. And then you yourself have to go and get the thing that you're praying for. So we say we meditate, which is really allowing your brain or your mind to be silent so you can receive outformation. Yeah, you can receive the crystal clear message from your ancestors when you're listening and you're tuned in to the right frequency. All right. Okay, we got here from Reginald. Define the greeting Rahubat. Again, that's from our language, yeah, Miss Batia, known as Sabaic, Nuwapic. It's known by many, many names, and the scripts also are familiar with the walls in Egypt where the hieroglyphics were written, the text in terms of the cuneiform in Sumer. Those are the scripts of this language that others borrowed from to form many dialects that people are calling languages today mistakenly. So Rahubat is when you study the language, and this is something we're all encouraged to do because you're using the right tones and vibrations and frequencies that will help you to attune yourself, back to the right vibration. So Rahub is part under the AAT. It's a plural where you add the S. So when we say Rahubat, we're saying greetings. Or Rahub is greet. but you know, you can actually learn the language through many of the platforms that we have. All right. So when you say define greeting, Rahubat, it literally means greetings. And then sometimes we add the word family to the end. So we'll say greetings family. So we say Rahubat Moyasar. Okay, we got a call coming in. So here we go. Rahubat. Rahubat. How you doing?
My name is, I'm very good, very good. My name is Francis Arno, calling from Barbados.
Rahubat.
Rawa, I have been paying attention to the chat, and but I have not really made any comments. But I like to ask a question.
Sure.
Most of the time, I see ones asking about if who was eating flesh and who was Moses and what have you, and paying attention to you as well, based on the times that we are living in. My question is, isn't it important that we focus on what we have to do at this day and age, so that we could go forward instead of questioning what happened millions of years ago?
Right. Absolutely. You're 100% right. But you have to remember, not everybody is at the same level. You know, there are people who are still skeptical. There are people who actually think there is another way other than Wu-Sabat or Partarak. And they're still doubting. They haven't got to the stage where some people just get it straight away. They're like, I'm ready, let's go. What do we need to do? Others are like, I have to make sure, and it's right, because you're dealing with your soul, and they have to make sure that they remember that it's religion that has caused this problem that you're talking about, where people have been lied to for so long, for 6,000 years. They've put their energy, their trust, their prayers, they've put so much into all these religious ways, whether it's Christianity, Islam, Judaism, whatever, and they haven't got the results. So now, and that was done intentionally, so that by the time the truth comes, people are misled, because they will look at us and see a symbol like our Aunt Tui, and they will be like, that's a cross, that's religion, just because of the dress, without even asking any questions. So religion is what has done this, and so we have to help those people get to a place where they realize that we're the genuine article. You know, we're real. And how you get someone to that point is where you have to let them ask questions about what they've been taught that is incorrect, and then we clear up the confusion and then dispel of the spell, and then they're now like, yeah. Because the thing is, Parnabab Yanun has been teaching information since the 60s, putting out scrolls and books of things that people are just hearing about today. So he's proven himself. Like we say, how right does a man have to be to show his divinity? You know, no one really has on the planet, and that's longevity when you think about from the 60s till today, and we're still a strong, especially with what we've been through. You know, with his kidnapping, with us being dispersed from our land, and, you know, disenfranchised and losing the ability to really practice our culture fully the way we would like to. And even with all of that, and spending 20 odd years plus fighting the devil and fighting the case, and we're still here. And, you know, so I'm just saying that to say that people who still kind of think this is not real, or they can find fault, you know, they come, they ask questions until they get to a point where they're like, this makes sense. I resonate with this. It touches my soul. This is the place. And then they will now look at. But it's interesting that the vibration we're on today, I like it, because the first question that we got from Dorinda was like, how do I get involved? How can I come into the community? How can I become a part? How can I be a Sabian? And you've come on, the second person, saying, yeah, let's move on to what we need to do now. And we say this every single day, but we realize not all flowers blossom at the same time. So we have to take time with those who are new, who are still skeptical, who are like, you know, they need to get to that point. But you're right, given the amount of time we have to do the amount of things we need to do in terms of, you know, bringing peace to the whole world, to humanity, you know, solving a lot of the problems that religions have caused, the divisions, the hatred, the wars. So we are in a place where you're right. Most of us we get up every day and we do this because it's about, okay, what's the most important thing we need to do right now? It's to free the master teacher, Partner Babjanun. And people are going to say, well, how do we do that? The first thing is unification, coming together and spreading the word, making noise, making sure the whole world knows about this injustice.
Yep.
And you don't do it without knowing what to say, what to do. So that's why coming into the community and learning and knowing about the case, knowing about the things that people are saying out there, which is misinformation, which is dealing with hearsay, dealing with being ignorant because you're ignoring the facts. So the first thing is we say every time, join the Telegram group, bring other people, study, and come into the community so that we can work together in unison and do what we need to do. There are many ways you can help. I've just given one, which is to spread the information and let people know. Second one is what you do by yourself in terms of your contributions. And we have, we'll put the link in the chat. How can I help? Because that's a question that a lot of people ask. And if you want to really help, either through donations or whatever you can do, that's going to go a long way. So, so really the first thing is come together in love and unity. That's what the master says will free him, you see. But that, it's as simple as it is. And go ahead.
I must say this, okay? I have been through Catholic. I have been through Rastafarianism. I have even followed Hindu, Krishna, and what's not. And I must say this, for the past couple of weeks going to a month, there is no other clarity than what I gather from Wu-Sabat.
100%.
I cannot see it anywhere else. Right? So probably that's the reason why it might find it a bit difficult for others or to comprehend and let's come together. But I could see from different questions being asked, it has to do a lot with ignorance. That's one of the biggest problem right there. And fear as well.
Yes, 100%. And that's true.
So I am spreading it along with members and what's not and what have you. But as I say, as I go along, I pay attention and I listen and gain more clarity.
Yeah.
And move forward. Yeah.
Thank you.
So
yeah, you said it. Thank you, Tawat. There's nothing more to say to that. You know, and we get this from other people. So you're absolutely right. All right, Tawat. Wadu.
Okay, I'll keep in touch.
Okay, so next question. What's this about the ETs wanting us for food?
Oh, yeah.
It's not us. It told you clearly, it's those who don't evolve and raise their vibration and consciousness and they don't like transform and they become mentally dead. And I gave a video or a series on Netflix called Salvation. And you also gave another one to watch. How to Feed Man?
How to Serve Man.
How to Serve Man.
Twilight Zone, yeah.
You have to think about these ETs, extraterrestrials. There are different types, many species, and some of them are flesh eaters, and they look at us as food, just as some humans look at animals as food, and they're going on a journey, and they take food. This is called food for the gods. So when you say, what's this about the ETs wanting us for food? It's not us, it's those who don't take themselves off the you. Off the menu. Yeah, that's what it is about. So yeah, we can go into more details about the food for the gods, but
I don't even think it's that far-fetched because you have humans on the planet that eat humans. So why is it so crazy when we say there are extraterrestrials that look on humans as food? It shouldn't be that crazy because you've got human beings that eat humans.
yeah.
No different. The same way humans feel that they're on top of the food chain, there ain't no one that can defeat them. Well,
Yeah.
extraterrestrials look at us same way as the brother said, second menu. So the object of the matter is to get off the menu. Don't be on the menu.
Grab that, let's set the record straight for a minute. Look through this whilst answering another question. This is a question from, we'll touch on it, but to be honest, yeah, so this is in response to Ubura Melvin. You say, can you explain about who the Fulani and the Hausa peoples of Nigeria and West Africa are? In this scroll called Let's Set the Record Straight, the master goes into detail about the different people. I'll see if Asaru can maybe look through it and see if we can find something. But the point I really want to make is that these names, like, that's why we say we're Nuwapians or Sabians, because it's just about the separation, again, when we start to call ourselves by names that are kind of really foreign to us because they were given to us by the people that colonized and influenced those people. So when we say in like Nigeria, Ghana, these are all divisions, and we're trying to say to everyone, like the brother that called, he was like, we spend so much time and argument trying to be like, who about this person, who about that person, what about that person, when we're all one from the same DNA. And now collectively, as the anthropologists refer to us in their classification of the races on the planet as Homo naledi and Homo habilis, which will cover all these, differences, like you're saying, the Fulani and the Hausa. In Nigeria, predominantly, you have three main tribes that everyone talks about, which one of them will be the Hausa, the other one will be the Igbos, and then you'll have the Yoruba. And but all of them are descendants, as I'm saying, even when you look at other like Fulani, and these are all beings that originated from the original beings that came from the water onto the land and to what was known as Ganawa, or which became known as Africa. But that was during the time where we got divided. So it's quite broad to just say, explain who the Hausa people are. It's like they're a tribe in Nigeria. A lot of Nigeria and a lot of Africa has been influenced by religion, even from the Berlin Conference when it was all divided up based on the resources. It has been influenced by Arabs, by, Christians. And so, we're really trying to get back to a time when we were one. If you don't find anything, it's fine. But join the Telegram group or get that, Let's Set the Record Straight, which goes into more detail. But we're not trying to promote the segregation, separation part of us. We're all one as Nuwapians or Sabians, okay? Do the aliens protect a particular group of Earthlings? Yeah, but there's different aliens protecting their interests on the planet. That's from Sir God Blackman. Yeah, they actually, we have our aliens, and they're known as the Panatharu, and they're the ones that are the top of the tops, and they protect us if we are doing the right thing. Like I read in the introduction of that language book, it's saying that give back everything and get back into your own vibration. Like other races, every race has their own vibration and frequency. Doesn't mean that you hate anybody or don't like somebody for who they are, because they are who they are. They cannot change who they are. It's the same with us. We are who we are, and that's it. We just have to all learn to live together in peace, love and harmony. But then you have extraterrestrials who also have their offspring on the planet, and they're looking after those. And you have other extraterrestrials that are disagreeable, and they just want to come here and wreak havoc and take food and do whatever they want to do. Okay. Marmi said Asaru looks really nice in his outfit.
Yeah. Towel tuck, towel
I
tuck.
love how organized Wu-Sabat is. That's what she says. She says Asaru looks really nice in his outfit today. All right, that's a good compliment.
Yes.
Okay, who's next? Sakena Nasaru, Super Sabians from planet Wu-Sabat. I like that. I like that. I do like that. Yeah, we're on a craft right now. We took off. I hope that you put your seatbelt on because yeah, we're going back to Orion and then to Risk.
Was it?
How do the Hermetic laws play into Wu-Sabat? So this is okay. We're going to come back to the so what is Ashutat. The question that we keep telling everyone, it's kind of amazing. Like, and I do know why. It's because of the spell of Kingu. We say to everyone, Wu-Sabat is the original. It's where everything comes from. And when you say Hermetic, what you're saying is Hermes, which is a being that they've grafted out of ancient Egypt as Tahuti. See, the original writings are from this being known as Tahuti, who many know wrote the Emerald Tablets. They refer to him as the Atlantean. But these words like Atlantean or from Atlantis, that's Greeks.
Yep.
Yeah, when you see the tis at the end of words like Osiris, Atlantis, Isis, these are Greek words. And yeah, so what they're really referring to, if you gave me the sacred record of Tahuti, right there, it should be there somewhere. Yeah, that's one. So this scroll called the Sacred Wisdom of the Grand Hierophant Tahuti Thoth. He's the writer of what becomes the Hermetic laws. So when you say how does it play in Wu-Sabat, we are the original. We're the ones that have the original text and original information that was passed down from mouth to ear, from generation to generation, and was kept sacred, right? And now it's being secreted. Look at the relation between the word secret and secreted. So now we're getting it back. All our original ways are now being made clear by way of Wu-Sabat. So you're returning to your original way. So everything comes from Wu-Sabat, from our ancestors. Okay, so it doesn't play in, it's everything's like a branch or sometimes distortion or misinformation from what we had. So we're giving you back the original in its pristine form. Apex says, so what is Ashutat? That's relating to the question about prayer. You got to remember that the master teacher took us through various schools. So when we were studying and learning these schools of religion, we partook in what you call prayer in that way. And again, we show you that all the forms of prayer come from the ancient Egyptian. Even when you look on the walls of Egypt, you will see all the positions that the Muslim prayer system is based off. So we had tafulat and ashutat. These are just ways that we used to give respect to our ancestors. So for example, that position where we would raise our hands to give respect and reverence to the sun became one of the positions in the prayer system when you look at the scroll Ashutat and the Tafulat. But as we graduated, the master started to answer questions that were put to him, such as, who do we pray to? Why do we pray? And then he started to break it down, and it got to a point where he said, some people need to pray, but prayer is not for everyone.
Yeah.
In that sense of thinking you've got to look to an external force and do all of these things that don't make sense, and channeling your energy to something that you don't even know or that exists. So, for example, in Islam, they will say face the east and pray. And you say, why? Right? because they say the Kaaba
Yeah.
is in that direction. But at the same time, they tell you that Allah is everywhere.
Yeah.
So you say, well, can I face
West.
Western pray? They say no. But you just told me he's everywhere. So the master asked the question, point me in a direction that Allah isn't.
Or put my feet in the direction where Allah isn't.
Yeah. You see? So these are the things. It's like, and then when you actually start to go into the details of who is Allah, why does he need prayer? Why does he need you begging him for stuff? You see? So, yeah. So there was a time, to answer your question, Apex, where we were going through those schools of religion, and we were more religious than them because we kept all the prayers. We dressed the way we were supposed to dress according to the scriptures that they followed, right? So this is your Quran, this is your, you know what I mean, your Bible, and so on and so forth. So we then graduated when we realized that we were that which was worshipped and the ones that people prayed to, because we are those Ethereans where they say, when you look at the word theos, or like you ask them, what does that mean? It goes back to the root, right? Which is really them worshipping us as the beings that they don't know exist, but exist as Ethereans or pure energy beings. So the master was like, you have to look inward into yourself first, and then make the connection and listen to the ironic, again, in terms of the distortion. In Islam, they will tell you, look into the bosom of Allah. And then you like, where's the bosom? Where's the bosom? So you got to look into yourself, because you're that being that they're referring to. So you got to basically pray to, not even pray, but like get back in tune with your being, yourself, and then connect to your ancestors and communicate with them. You see, so yeah, we did have we still got those scrolls, and if you want to still use those ashutats and tafulat and you can, but that's a personal experience. It's not for the masses and for everyone. So not everyone requires that. All right. Okay, let's keep going. Do you have a question?
Yeah, Draco asks, do you guys have any information on the oversoul or soul family?
We absolutely do. We have a part called Soul, Spirit. See if you can find it. We have many scrolls that deal with the oversoul. 30 spirits goes into that as well, and that's the what you're connecting to, in terms of when I just mentioned about these higher beings known as the Ethereans or the overseers, yeah, and how you're energetically connected to them, and they're the ones that, you know, will help and guide you. There's and through your bloodline, through your family, through your mother's side, it's more potent. Whilst you're looking for that, greetings. Is Lilith the great mother of civilization, as she's also considered to be Wu-Sabat? Yeah, I mean, in terms of the female type, where you're talking about, you know, asset, but they're different females. But in terms of you saying the great mother of civilization, the video we put out recently called The Book of the Dead touches about this, the naming and the distortion when you're saying mother of civilization. Like they say that about Eve, and they say she's the mother of civilization. Yeah. But in the language, her name is Nikeba, which means tribal leader, which is dealing with her being the leader of a tribe. So it's the same when you're looking at the female being the first to give birth to the male, and she is that tribal leader, but you've got to know which tribes we're talking about. And in different tribes, you know, the female was first, but they push her backwards and put the men first, with the monotheistic religion where it's all about dealing with a patriarch, you know, society and rulership, and push the mother back. So, yeah, so it depends on which civilization you're talking about, because we were and are the civilizers. Okay, but that same being known as asset, or she becomes Hathor or becomes Isis or becomes Ashtat, many names for the female. But the reality is the female comes first, and she's the leader because she gives birth and she carries the mitochondrial DNA, which is only passed from female to female. Do you want to add something? Yeah. You got another one?
Yeah. Was it Uber Melvin? Are the star children and the 144 the same people? And how do you know if they are amongst the star children or 144,000?
He said 140, so I was a bit like, he said, are
Yeah,
the
yeah,
star children
it's 140,000.
and the 140,000 the same? We did a video on this. Watch the video called The Golden Children. It explains and talks about the differences between the star children, the golden children, and how do you know and how don't you know. It says that you shouldn't really be trying to claim it. Yeah. So, but the thing is, if you can be a golden child but don't know you're a golden child and be misled by fire children, because you've got the fire children too. So it's about you doing the work on yourself and also to improve yourself to be in that position when the time comes. No one really can say that to themselves 100% that I've made it. This is where your records, based on not your actions only, but your intentions as well. Because with actions can be misleading. You know, you can give someone something and pretend to be nice and pretend to be doing, but your intentions are not correct. So it's not just about your actions, it's also about your intentions. Because sometimes you may have good intentions, but are not able to fulfill what you intend to do. So as part of being the 144,000 and all of that, there is so much information regarding that, both literal, symbolic, and when I say symbolic, like for example, the 144,000 adds up to the number 9, which is dealing with 9 ether and dealing with a selection of beings that fall into that 9 ether
Consciousness.
So yeah, instead of trying to know and work out, focus on doing what we're supposed to be doing, which is studying, learning, and putting Wu-Sabat into practice with Ashuk, which is divine love.
What's that? Licks?
Lick XR, XYR.
Yeah.
How to understand the Mayan calendars and how can I use the Mayan calendar? We got our own calendar. The Mayan calendar was the one that ended in 2012.
Yeah.
So we're still here. So this is what we keep saying. People keep coming to Wu-Sabat and trying to draw us away to other things and other people and other books when we're saying to you, this is the way.
We've got our own stuff.
This is the way. Like, you like it or leave it. You can go around in circles for 20 more years and waste your time on religion and all these ways. But we're bringing everyone together under one umbrella in love and unity, right? So you can get the most valuable and potent information for your transformation, for your being. So, you know.
Didn't the master teacher wrote some procession change?
Yeah, 2012 procession change. And I don't know if I've got it there, but it's an actual fact that the master teaches about these things. You know, the dimensional shift, which took place in 2012. But if you look at that calendar, people thought that was the end of the world. But it was the end of an era, and it's dealing with for the year 2000, where the sun cycles come in, to the dimensional shift in 2012, onto where we're at now, where we're going to 2030, where it's going to be the full half hour from 2000 to 2030. So, you know, can I use the Mayan calendar? Like, how? When it ended in 2012, we're now in what, in our calendar, is 6025.
Yep.
It's the hereafter. All right? And that's the calendar that really matters now. So learn Nwapik, Miss Batia, and learn. And have we got our own calendar? Yeah, it's up there. But yeah, we got our own calendar, so that's what you should be learning. Ashita is a prayer that there is a system. That's right, it's a prayer system. Do the Anunnaki protect the earth? No. The Anunnaki is a description of an incident that took place where Anu sent beings to this planet in groups of 50. And it was an incident, yeah, there you go. It was an incident that, that's a prayer book, a calendar, sorry. Now, that's what we're saying. It depends on different extraterrestrials have different interests on this planet. Some want to destroy humans and want it for themselves because they look at humans as being barbaric with the things that we do, misusing the knowledge they give us, wanting to create atomic weapons, nuclear weapons, and they feel that you've got information that is in the wrong hands that could actually cause a holocaust in terms of if they damage or blow up this planet, it's going to have an effect on the solar system and it's going to have an effect on the galaxy and the other galaxies, and it's just going to be like a massive, catastrophe. So some extraterrestrials are agreeable. They want to coexist and live with us in peace and harmony, and have done so for millions of years without being seen or interfering. Then you got other ones that are renegades. They're just like
Tyrants.
reptilians, tyrants. Yeah, they want to come here, mislead humans, eat humans, create all kinds of destructive things on the planet. So the Natharu protect the earth, and you do have other extraterrestrials that protect the earth, and sometimes they work together when they see that it's in their interest. Like, for example, if they live on this planet, which they do, in the waters, on the surface, in the skies,
caves,
if
caverns,
you are
swamps.
going to affect their worlds,
Yeah.
then they all come together, and this is when you will normally see extraterrestrial crafts around those places, like nuclear, where the nuclear weapons are, around government, around the people that are making those wrong decisions, you see. So it all depends on what's going on the planet. Some are trying to guide us, help us evolve so we can join the intergalactical community, and Partner Babyanun is one of those beings. He's here to upgrade us so that we can start to use our brain, and so that we are worthy to receive, the barotheric gland replaced for those who are worthy, and then you'll be able to do more and help solve the problems on this planet. And if all fails, then those that are worthy, that somebody mentioned, the 144,000, will be taken away and start all over again, which is something that has happened many, many times on this planet, where there's a renewal or a restart, a replenishing. That's where Genesis picks off when he says Barashith, which is not dealing with the original first it's hard to say, with existence before creation. So, it says, let us replenish the planet. To refill means that at some point you had some juice or something inside something.
Yeah. Give me a refill.
You see how I done that? Nice way to get a drink, but now I need a refill. So we're refilling the planet, refilling the earth. That's what that was about. So yes.
And I think a lot of people need to realize that the Anunnaki is actually an event, not a species. You have the Anakim, or Seraphim and Cherubims, which are two separate groups that make up the so-called term Anunnaki. So the Anunnaki was the incident when beings came down to Earth in groups of 50s by the being Anu.
Right. Reginald asked a kind of follow-up question to that. I saw a 4-part movie on YouTube about Anunnaki. Have you seen it, and how accurate is it? Where is Endor, Anu, Enki, etc. today? I have seen it. We didn't produce it.
Which one was that? I ain't seen that one.
Yeah, it's kind of a animation type with
Okay.
AI and all that. But yeah, we didn't put that movie out. So a lot of the times you have to go and ask those people that are putting the information out there question. But yeah, it's not really in, you know, based on the knowledge and information we have, completely accurate. Although it's based on some of the information you will find in our holy tablets that Pana Babyanun, the master teacher, put out. And a lot of people have a hard time when we say to them that the holy tablets, not according to me or Asaru or us, but according to Pana Babyanun, has expired. And that was dealing with the Anunnaki stories and dealing with all the religious
Questions, yeah.
questions and books, because the religious books and religions come from the Anunnaki stories. So he covered it all and walked you backwards all the way from being a Christian, a Muslim, a Jew, even touching on some of the dynastic periods of Egypt, or what people call Kemet, taking you to the Sumerians, and then leading us back to pre-dynastic, leading us back to Wu-Sabat. But he said that that holy tablets completed all that religions were trying to express but couldn't, and he also, you know, finished it off with the whole Anunnaki story. So, but even today, he's put out a master secrets called the Anunnaki and the Biblical
From
text.
Anunnaki and the biblical.
But we've done, there's a
Yeah.
video on that as well.
Yeah.
We've done that already. So if you want to really learn about the Anunnaki, we went into detail, went through that whole master secrets
The
on the
family tree.
Anunnaki. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can put it to bed, but it keeps waking up. Okay. Yes, they gave us TikTok and porn. Okay, that's true. Who is Allah?
Extraterrestrial.
Yep. He's the same being you're calling
Yeah.
Anu. He's an extraterrestrial being. And just like you can be, you see, Wu-Sabat always encourages people, because this is how the master teacher teaches us. He breaks down the words, because the words are what cause the spell, or the spellings put a spell on you. So when you're saying Allah, you already have some kind of preconception of who that is, because you're going to go to a book called the Quran that speaks about this being called Allah, and they tell you about him. What does the word Allah means? It's Allah, which comes from
Elo.
Elo, or El Elo, yeah, which is the source in description. So really, it's just misinterpretation where people are using terms like God, Allah, and all these other titles that are describing beings. But those beings are not the source of everything, you see. So we have to break that down.
I think, why do you think it's hard for people to accept these terms, extraterrestrials?
It's the programming, the deception, because it's actually weird, because they will accept that there's a deity or a being called God or Allah, yeah? And then when you ask them, where is this being? They'll say, up there.
Yeah.
And you say, okay, up there where?
Yeah.
They'll say, up there. So we say, is it outside of the planet? They'll say, yes. So he's an extraterrestrial.
Yeah,
So then when we say that the beings that you're talking about, calling angels, Jesus, Muhammad,
Malaika,
who
yeah.
rode a donkey apparently
Baruch.
to
yeah.
space, the Baruch, yeah? It's like they will accept all of that, but they won't accept the extraterrestrial. So
They'll even accept a talking snake.
yeah, exactly. So it's like you said, today, your angels and all that are extraterrestrial.
Yeah, that's a new word we're using.
Yeah. I don't understand that. Who is Hiket? I don't know where that's coming from. Or is that meant to be Hikakasut? I don't know.
Hiket.
Christopher Muno, could you... Yeah, that question is not clear to us. Roros is what hertz 440 or 432 should music be made in today? See, a lot of people will say 432 because that's the Schumann resonance, right? Because it's been sped up. But really, we have our own tones and vibrations for our being and our race. And the A tone would be the one that vibrates on the frequency that is conducive for the human body. And then we have the F tone, which deals with nature. Yeah, you know. So, and then obviously the C deals with the cosmos.
Yeah.
Because you are connected to your beings and other people around you on the A tone, which is the body. You're in tune or connected to nature when you're vibrating on that F.
Yeah.
And then you have ancestors and beings, overseers, etc., that are in higher dimensions that are outside of here in the cosmos. So by connecting to those three tones, you're in tune with the cosmos, the planet, and yourself, or humanity. So what they've done is, they've tuned. Remember, there's different temperaments as well when you're tuning musical instruments. So they've tuned that middle C, as you're saying, to 440 hertz.
I think that goes into A Man from Planet Risk goes into that as well, where they sped up music.
That's right. It's right there as well. So, and sometimes it's about, like, we say music, but there's different types of music. Different races have different tones. So their music's gonna be on the frequencies that resonate with them. So it depends on who you are. But if you're talking about us as Nagaru, Nagaranadu, then you're talking about FAC, okay? And really, it's about how do you resonate when you hear about the vibration and the frequency? Does it feel in harmony or in unison with you, or does it not? So you can tune it to that. But yeah, 432 would be more appropriate than the 440. How bad is eating meat in the bigger picture? Man.
Our teeth ain't designed to eat. For us to eat meat, we have to cook it. So that means it's not really, we're not designed to eat meat. You don't see lions, skewing up the deer or like cooking up the deer. They eat it just like that. So for us to be eating meat, we have to cook it. So that means we shouldn't be eating it by naturally. We have to cook it. So fruits and veg, that's what we're supposed to be eating.
Yeah.
We haven't got Caesars, sizers?
It's like you're seasoning it, but you're not reasoning it. It's like the seasoning is to make you want to eat it, but and the funny thing is, you said in the bigger picture. I don't know what you're calling the bigger picture, but
it might be referring to the draconians.
Yeah, because like you have to look at the benefits of why you're doing something, and when you're dealing with the health benefits, as Asaru already said, we didn't have canine teeth. We don't really have the digestive system to process meat. The meat today, a lot of it depends on what you're even calling meat, because a lot of it is processed. The blood is in the meat, and that's the life force of that animal. And a lot of the meat is they put a lot of chemicals and stuff into it. You get there's a lot of uric acid that you're gonna get from eating meat, and that is the same thing that causes arthritis and high blood pressure. So you have to look at, you're only gonna eat it because you're seasoning it, and seasoning is generally just salt. Salt, and so you can actually stand to eat it. And then the bad health aspects of it are not good for you. So you have to weigh the pros and the cons and the benefits. And it's actually the life that's in the blood of that animal will also then become a part of you. This is why you may have bad dreams and experience the trauma that animal went through.
That's what I was about to say, yeah.
In your dreams, etc., etc. So, but everyone's gonna eat what they're gonna eat, regardless of what you tell them, unless they want to change their vibe. And it's also a low vibration. So, in the bigger picture, that's not what we're supposed to be eating. But there's no but really. But yeah, people still do it. You got another question, or shall I carry on? Can we talk? This is Ricardo again. Can we talk a little bit about the labyrinth? May break down the word and little bit about the meaning of his history or myth. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. In terms of who are you talking about, and give us some references. And but it's like we also tell people learn how to ask questions in a way that it's clear for us to know what you're really asking. And saying, can we talk a little bit about it? It's not really a question. Like,
I was thinking like El Mugharaji, if that's what he's referring
yeah,
to.
that's
but
what I
I'm
want
not,
him to explain.
I'm not too
'Cause
sure.
I mean, but the labyrinth, if we can, let's touch on that. Like you, my brother, just said, is the journey inwards and how you, like we spoke about, going inside yourself. But there are ancient practices, rituals that we did to help you walk that labyrinth, because it's really dealing with the journey inside of you, you know. So if that, you know, we'll have to come back to that question if you clarify it. How to order, you know what, I have to remember that there are people from all over the world and English might not be their first language.
True.
So if you ask a question based on the grammar and you're not really a English speaking person, then kind of like forget what I said. But the way you order the books is you go on our websites and you pick the book and put it in your cart and you order it that way. And the websites are in the chat, unitedsabiansworldwide.com, and the chat.co.uk. Or if you're a local, you can just come down physically and get them. Henrik Adams, Rahubat Brothers, what type of music do you listen every day? I love listening to music. So do we. But you have to listen to music that has vibration that resonate with you. Reggae is good music because it's got the drum and the bass.
Heavy metal.
That's him by himself. I don't listen to heavy metal. Soul music, you know, Afrobeat.
Afrobeats and piano.
Yeah, it's not about, it's listening to music that hasn't got harmful lyrics, harmful vibrations. And I listen to jazz, I listen to soul, I listen to quite a lot of genres of music. I just don't listen to the ones that agitate you and make you feel like you're on edge. And I hear some of the younger people what they listen to, and that's them. Their vibration is different. You know, they move a lot faster than us. But they listen to music that the tempo is really fast. And then they act fast and move fast as well. So, you know, we just like the peace, calm, nice vibration.
Yeah.
And of course, we've got Nwapit music that we listen to.
What didn't the master teacher said about the music? If you listen to music that you used to listen to as a child, keeps you on that youthful state.
Keeps you youthful.
Yeah.
And we got a Nwapian sister, and you know that I'm trying to find. Let me see if we can find her link. Oh, I'm already on. Yeah, we'll post a link in the and if you're in our Telegram group, we post things in there. So we always encourage you to join. If you haven't done so, we're nearly there. You know, we've got a target we're trying to hit, and I think definitely by tomorrow or today, if every one of you now,
yeah, we've got to make it happen, man.
Yeah, help us get to the numbers, and we're also about to hit that 100K on here. So remember, your help is to like, share, subscribe, and you know, show us some love for doing all this work for us. Okay, let's keep going.
When you prepare, will so as not to come.
It's been quiet on the calls today.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well.
Should we give him the number again?
Yeah.
Okay, look in the chat. We're going to give you the number, and you can call in and speak to us, ask us questions live. I've lost where I was. You can tell.
Ninja. I said, don't
Yeah, we just done it. The music. Roro, can you speak on the third testament of the Bible?
Yeah.
What's on the third testament? What's that? We don't want to speak on the Bible, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going back into Bible. We're going back into... No, let me rephrase that before they take that clip and make... So Ken doesn't like to speak about the Bible. What we're saying is, ask us a direct question
Oh, right,
and stop things like, can we talk about, can you speak on the Bible? Like, that's not a direct question. And do you mean the New Testament? The Renewed Testament? Can't hear the callers. Okay. Brusca noise. Rahubat brothers. How would we know if we are chosen to be part of the 144,000? Are your spaces guaranteed? Do you have knowledge of who may be chosen to be carried away to have their barratry gland? No, we don't. Partner Bab Yanun will know, because he's part of the beings that make the decision. It's not British Airways, like you just buy a ticket and then you're guaranteed that you're gonna have your space. It's based on. That's why I say to people, watch that Netflix series called Salvation. Anytime I like recommend movies and stuff, I have no affiliation with them. Let me just say that.
Tell them you got deals with it, man.
It's just like they help you see things visually, and you like, because they go through a process of how they select and choose people. Because you have to remember, what is the purpose of taking these people? Like, if I'm going to start all over again, which is what the series is about, it's talking about this planet, which is pretty much a story, coming to an end. And when it gets to that point where, let's say, it's imminent that a meteorite or something's going to hit this planet that's going to cause destruction on a level where no one's going to survive. Or if they started their wars and launch missiles, nuclear weapons, that will be it's just going to cut, like, people are going to not survive. So in that situation, what would you call like the fallback plan or the contingency, or like, so what it is, you have to prepare people. Now, if you're gonna, let's say you're going somewhere to rebuild, you're gonna need engineers, you're gonna need farmers, you're gonna need, so like, this is where it's like, are you a useless eater on this planet? Are you a consumer or are you a producer? Because if you don't produce anything, then why would I take you? If you don't do anything, all if you do is consume, and you're a useless eater, you're not going to be a priority. They call this selecting the brain team. The brain team has already been taken, and they've been taken to Mars and to these places that they're now talking about going to live and start all over again. So we're saying that, you're saying, how will you be chosen? What value do you have? That if you were to be chosen, what use will you have? And I'm not saying that to put anybody down. I'm just saying, like, you have to be useful in some way or shape. This is why being raised to the level where you're using your intelligence, right? And you're acting and behaving like a being that's worthy to be even, given that opportunity. So if you want to know, study the books and live Wu-Sabat. All right, how to use main calendar. We covered already.
What's this one? What are the structures they discovered under
The pyramids.
Yeah, Khafre's pyramid.
Yeah, wait
recently.
for them to let them explain it. We are not going to explain it for them. We have the science of the pyramids. The master put out the book, The Science of the Pyramids, years ago, and he explained pretty much what they're trying to explain today. And it's going to be a very hard scroll to get hold of, but yeah, so we let them explain what they're saying, and then we'll wait for the master teacher, if he wants to update us with any further information, he will.
What do you guys think about the Bible? Like, how relevant is it when teaching wu-nuwapu? Well, we use a key study Bible, so you could go actually into the meanings what the words mean. So like when you look up the word Elohim or Jabarians, you see
Jabarians,
actually
yeah.
what the word actually means. Or look at the word Adam, what it actually means in the actual dictionary. So that's why we use the Key Study Bible, so you can get a clear picture of the words and what they actually mean.
Also, remember that you have to meet people where they're at. So if you're trying to teach someone who is in the Bible, you have to use that Bible to show them the mistakes, the misinterpretations, but we're not trying to be in it.
Yeah.
It's like a reference book that you can use like any other book that you would read. But what the mistake that people were fooled under is like, this is the word of God and everything in it is holy, and that's not the case. So that is what puts people under this spell. And so you have to break the spell gradually by walking them through it, but not get caught up in it yourself and then remain in it. So yeah, we say it's relevant, but it literally has about probably 10% accurate or useful information. So you use it for the purposes of reversing the spell,
Yep.
and then you bring them out of it. All right. It's like these questions are jumping. Like Rahubat, I just want to know that are the other worlds under this world. If you mean Shambhala and Agartha, where there are subterranean worlds, yes. If you mean, because you just said, I want to know that are the other worlds. I think you want to say, I want to know, are there other worlds under this world? Again, it depends what you're calling this world, and if you're talking about, are there other planets and other galaxies and other worlds? Yes, there are, and there are other worlds within this world. You can say the ant kingdom, that's a world. You know, there are many worlds, and depending on, you know, the bees, they have their own world, you know, like, and then as you go into, as we said, the subterranean world, Agartha or Shambhala, there are, worlds there.
Kirikou, is Allah an Anunnaki?
Yes.
Extraterrestrial.
People love this Anunnaki, innit? They really do. Rahobat brothers, do you think scientific Allah, that's his name. Rahobat brothers, do you think that the world powers have destroyed Agartha and Shambhala? No, they haven't. But a lot of beings have left. A lot of beings are thinking it's time for us to go, because these nutters, they might just, you know, but not completely. Is Dark Awakening X? Nature is Wu-Sabat. Wu-Sabat is nature. Absolutely, 100%. All right.
Okay.
I would like to know, why do we live in repetitive cycles, especially our day to day? Because that's to show you and prove the natural way of things. Things are in cycles, because even when you look at it from an atomic level, you know, you had the original atom spinning around a nucleus. Yeah. Electron. And you look at nature, everything is in cycles, because there's no beginning and there's no end. You see, so when people say the alpha and omega, they're saying the beginning and the end, but there's no real what you're calling beginning, because it's a chain reaction of events, and everything has to recycle. So so that's why when they say Jesus being, according to the Bible, for example, because people refer to him as the alpha and the omega. So it's like, how can you be the beginning if you're a 6 ether being and there were 9 ether beings before? So you can't be the alpha, you can't be the omega, the end, because we haven't reached the end. So what is the end? You see, because life, if you look at how it works, you have a chain reaction where one animal will eat another one, and then produce manure that would be used to grow, crops. The sun, everything is in cycles. That's why. So we keep coming back here because you have to graduate and then you don't have to come back. Originally, we didn't keep reincarnating. That was, we should come, fulfill our purpose, gone, and go back and don't come back. So, yeah, the cycles. We have a call. Yeah, Wu-Sabat, what's your name? Where you calling from? Oh, Kenya.
Yes, Kenyan Mwangi, yes. Wu-Sabat, Saken, and Asaru.
Wu-Sabat.
How can we help today?
Yeah. Okay, first of all, I want to start by saying free master teacher.
Free the master teacher.
100%.
Yes, exactly, yeah. My question today is, what has the master teacher said about the introduction of money as currency and how powerful it became? Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so because the introduction of money was done to control people, really, because when you're dealing with natural nature, we were in a state where everything was provided for. So we didn't really need anything. It was when foreigners came, like we were walking on gold and we didn't think of, or platinums or whatever resources that today the Western world has, come to take and create what they call wealth. So in terms of money, the master teacher hasn't really written a book specifically on money, but he's just showing us that, we had everything and we were in tune with natural nature. And that's what it's really supposed to be like, where you're provided for. We didn't poison the water and then put it into bottles and then sell it to everyone. The air, we didn't pollute the air and then we can't breathe. And, we didn't do a lot of the crazy things that humans are doing now. So in terms of that, and in terms of they used, when I say they, I'm talking about if you study the evolution of money, for the last 100 years or so, money hadn't evolved and it was being controlled by, centralized banking systems and who governed how and who got wealth. But that whole thing about losing the value of money from the gold standard, where it was ritually based on gold, and it becoming useless paper, the fiat system means that the printing of money devalued it to the point where we're living in a debt system, a debt society where it's a promissory note. I might lose some people with talking about this stuff, but when you're saying on the dollar bill or on the money, I promise to pay the bearer the sum of, it's a promise. Okay, so now the playing field's being leveled. It's being leveled to the point where things are not centralized anymore and run by one person or one central system that determines who gets wealth. Today, it's digital, so it's programmable and it's leveled the playing field where with the cryptocurrencies, you can have and be wealthy. In fact, join the Telegram group because we also look at how we can help unplug people from the matrix. Okay, so like I said, we've got some surprises for you. So in terms of we just got to come together and learn economics and learn how to work together, buy from each other, so to everyone else, and become a producer and own stuff instead of just being a consumer and a useless eater. But so I hope that's helped you. Okay, go on.
I don't know how to pronounce his name, but it says, why did the ancient Egyptians create garlic?
Kotwano.
That's it.
Where's the evidence and the facts that the ancient Egyptians created garlic? Because garlic is a hybrid. Dr. Sebi broke this down. So again, that's not
He might have seen the hieroglyphs of the garlic on the wall in ancient Egypt.
okay. That's what I'm saying. Like, but yeah,
Yeah.
that question is a bit. But even though it's a hybrid, you know, it still has certain properties. Many things like even avocados are hybrids. Okay, I guess it depends on which type of avocado as well. But it's kind of like, yeah, it's a bit of a weird question in the sense of how does it help us today? Like, based on what we were saying about what we need to do right now. Like, why did you create garlic? Like, come on, man, come on. Let's be a bit more serious. Okay, we can help raise consciousness. Yep, that's good. Are the Mrs. TBJ, are the zodiacs part of the planets or dismissed as symbolism and not important? The zodiacs, the word zodiac comes from
Animals
or zoo. Yeah, that zodiac is dealing with the zoo or the different animals in the zoo, which now becomes what they call the horoscope. But that in itself comes from what we know as the dendera in ancient Egypt. So it's dealing with, yeah, people are looking at it like the nature, because when you look at animals, people have certain natures that relate to that particular animal. So when you look at ancient Egypt and you saw the falcon, or you saw the different heads, or like Hathor with, you know, the horns, and it's related to the cow. This is why it ends up in Hindu, where people are like, they look at the cow as being sacred, and they don't eat the cow, and some worship the cow. So again, all of this comes back down to our way from ancient Amaraean in terms of, as I said, look at the dendera. So they're looking at the natures of people and saying, if you're born under this star sign and this horoscope. Again, we did a video that when we did the wise men, right? Because we spoke about the whole thing about the zodiacs and the horoscope and how that all came about from the Assyrians, okay, who were the wise men who charted the stars and the significance of how they utilize, you know, the stars and, you know, certain planetary bodies to know when certain energies were being released on the earth, and to use them for navigation and to know where they were going. So yeah, that zodiac thing today is turned into, you know, you read the zodiac to think how your day is going to be, which doesn't really work, because your personalities tie into your 29 plus personalities of your family tree going back 4 generations. So you're not just one, like, born under a particular time period. It's going to have a relationship to your mother and your father where they were born and their natures, you see. So this is where those natures all come into you, and you have the multiple personalities and the different voices in your head. So it's not just down to you, basically. All right, let's just remind you on the number if you would like to call in. While Asara looks for the next question, we'll say that if you're calling from outside the UK, add +44, that's the UK code, and then 753 996 3882. So that's +44 753 996 3882 to call us live. Okay? Shy, gritty, Mr. Ben. Much love and support to you, brothers, and what you're standing on. Ashuk family. Ashuk Zaman. Divine love. Any questions?
I've got one there. No jokes, 365. When you die, do you go into the light or into the darkness? I heard going into the light is how you are incarnated.
Yeah, so I'm trying to see the question. I can't see it. But yeah, I mean, it depends on what you know. Because if you don't know, then remember that most people have been taught to go into the light, because they giving you this whole or distortion of light being better than darkness. And when people have a near-death experience, they tell you and they talk about the light, because the programming from a religious point of view is all about the light. So a lot of people will go into the light but not realizing it's a wormhole that brings you right back. And if you don't have your ancestors waiting for you to guide you where to go, if this is why it's so important to know about your ancestors and where you're going, because if you don't know, you might get to that stage and they say there's a extraterrestrial being over there in a white robe, right, looking like a Palladian, and then you got your family over that side who you may not know, and they look as black as night, and they're going, come over here, and you're like being beckoned to the other being saying, come over here, and you think that's the way, Jesus. So you're gonna go that way and might end up as a, you know, a sandwich, or come right back here. So yeah, it's important to know. That's why we have the scroll, so you can know about life after death, because we do have a scroll called the spiritual you after the physical you dies. We have many scrolls called, you know, afterlife, the birth, and so on. So
Remember, light is chaos, darkness is
tranquility.
Bliss. Yes.
Yeah, Dr. Yorkin or Miami Isa. It's Dr. York or Imam Isa told us in the 80s, told us to question everything, even his teachings.
That's right.
Yes, do question everything, but he also said there's going to come a time where you can't go and check it out from their information.
Yep.
So you can question to a certain point, and if you don't know, you question. But if you do know, there's no need to question. So you question up until the point where you know, and then you put it into action. You know, I'm not telling you not to question, but I'm just saying you can question and question and question, as he said on one of the recordings, where people that are just skeptical, doubting Thomases, will always question. We know a brother, I think we did a video that has been coming to our classes for like over 20 years. And he's just questioning, and he's still questioning. And he keeps buying our scrolls, but he keeps questioning. So it's like, you can get to a point where, as the master said on a recording, where people don't want to be themselves or accept who they are. So he was saying about a situation where you have a bus waiting to take people to a destination, and there's a machine where, you know, different races, like a Native American comes and he says, who are you? And he says, you know, he says his name, a name that relates to being a Native, like, you know, Black Eagle or something. And then someone else comes, and so the Negro had been the what's it called, the doubting Thomas. He tries to pretend and puts on a disguise and goes to the machine, and the machine says, you're still a Negro. You're still a Negro, but you've wasted your time with your skepticism, and now you've missed your bus. So you can question and question and question to the point where you miss the boat and you miss your opportunity. So, okay, this is what you're asking. What do you guys think about the Bible? Like, how relevant? Oh, we covered that. It's not really relevant in today's day and time because it's outdated. It's expired. Everything in the Bible has been done. Even walking on water, you have
splitting the cells.
Yeah, what's that guy, the magician? Chris Angel.
Oh yeah,
Chris Angel's walked on
yeah.
water. You have David Blaine, and all these guys have done the miracles. Or
Dynamo as well, isn't it?
So-called miracles of the Bible. So there's nothing left in the Bible that has not already been done or proven. So it's out of date. And everyone in it is dead. Watch the video, The Book of the Dead. That's what the Bible is. It's a book of the universal books of the dead. And it sounds silly when Wu-Sabat makes it plain, like everyone in the Bible is dead. So you got a book talking about dead people. So the ones they say are alive in the form of a ghost. So, yeah, so how relevant is it when you're alive and you're living and you're seeing things like AI, the internet, all these things happening that it's not in the Bible? So how does it teach you about cryptocurrency and the internet and AI? And it doesn't. So you have to be up to date. You have to get an update. You update your phones with the latest OIS. If you're dealing with Apple, you get the new operating system. You need updates because without the updates, the phone becomes dead and obsolete. You know, you don't even see those old phones again. You know, we used to have those, all them brick phones are dead. You don't see them anymore. So you have to update. Yeah. What else are we?
Story on BK. Which planet did the Parnatharu blacks originate from? So
Right.
the males came from Orion, and then the females came from Sirius C. Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't seen that question, but you've answered it anyway. When you die to do, okay, we covered that one. If I was born without a soul, can I get one by practicing Wu-Sabat? We got a call up, so let me put Rahubat.
Rahubat, greetings.
Greetings.
I just have, my question is just on, like, well, first of all, I'm calling from London, by the way. My name is Sean.
Greetings. Yeah.
Greetings. Yeah, I just wanted to know, so just on, like, the topic of willpower.
Mm.
And, like, we have, of course, the will to want to do certain things when we talk about in this physical plane. If I'm hungry, for example, I'll go and prepare myself a meal and eat. If I need to drink water, I'll go and find a glass of water and so on and so forth. So we understand that we have control in the physical realm. So let's say, for example, in the unseen, or when we do pass over, of course, I've been listening to you guys for a while, and we've spoken on reincarnation, and if based on the works that we've done in this physical realm, and based on our actions, that will determine whether or not we come back or whether or not we transcend to the higher realms. But touching on willpower, that same force that we have in this physical plane that says when we're hungry, we go and get some food. Do we have that same force when we do pass over to the other side to say, okay, perhaps this experience wasn't, on this physical plane, wasn't necessarily the best, but I don't have that will to want to come back? Or is there forces that act outside of yourself that are far greater than the power that you have in this unseen realm that says, hey there, stop right there, you're not going anywhere, you're coming back? Do you get what I'm saying? I know.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, that's basically. So so if you have that kind of, that same power that we do have in the spiritual realm, that we have in the physical realm, to say, actually, I may want to have a different experience outside of this, or I may want to travel to a different realm, or I may want to transcend to somewhere that's different. Whereas, or is that kind of, because it's kind of like it's not like, because you have that concept of that religions kind of utilize, and it's that whole kind of fear concept where it's like, okay, if you don't do good, then you're gonna go to hell forever. But kind of saying that, all right, maybe if you didn't, maybe because I use those terms kind of loosely, just for lack of a better word, when we talk about good and evil, or let's just say, all right, you say you didn't do good or whatnot, you wouldn't have the capabilities of transcending. However, based on my spirit, I don't necessarily want to come back. So do you have those conversations with your higher self, or is it just something beyond your power at that stage?
Okay, got your question. All right, let's answer it for you. Okay, so there are two separate kind of like parts to that. The first one is that if you don't want to come back, then this is what we refer to as burning your desires. Because the reason you're coming back is because you haven't burnt out certain desires that are pulling you back here, that you're attracted to here. So if you, for example, are attached to, to lust, if you're attached to like family members in the form of what people call love, not divine love, but more like the love of family, love of wife, love of, if there are things that the attraction is so strong to this realm, then you're not ready to let go. So that's why you're coming back. But the thing is, when you're moving on, if you've burnt out all those desires, where like you've just said, I don't want to come back and I have no reason to come back, then there's nothing for you to come back to. However, it's not entirely up to you, because you might not have the will to come back, but if you're not ready in terms of you haven't fulfilled the mission that you were sent here to do, or that you came here to do, then the overseers or those beings responsible can send you back. And it's not a punishment, it's more like a help for you to graduate, because you're going to need those qualifications to move on to the next level. So it's kind of like they're helping you to prepare you. And a lot of times we are trying to, that's why we came here, because of will, because we willed, we actually were asked if we wanted to come here or not, and many of us chose to come here to experience this. And so that's why we came. But in coming here to experience and go through the suffering and the pain and all of that, then a lot of us learn our lessons. Others don't. They get comfortable here and they love it here and they don't want to leave, and they want to stay in the physical material plane. I said earlier on that originally we didn't have to reincarnate and keep coming over and coming back again and again and again and again. So that's because we have actually fallen to a point where we need so much more to learn and to so that we can then move on. I don't know, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, a lot of reasons why we come, or a lot of reasons why we do come back, because we have to experience certain things before we can move on to higher levels of existence.
Yeah.
So if you haven't experienced certain things, you're going to have to come back and experience them.
Yeah, so you need to burn them out now. That's the desires. And that's why even Buddha was teaching that, what's the phrase, the cause of all suffering is desire.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. So you have to learn that you have to burn out all your desires, all the things that you're attracted or pulling you down here. All right? But Wu-Sabat is here with the books and the scrolls are to teach you how to not have to come back. Right, that question by Maria. If I was born without a soul, can I get one by practicing Wu-Sabat? The whole thing about soul, everyone had a soul, or you have a soul, but then you burn it out or you lose it if you don't do the things that will ignite it. So for example, even when people say like certain Adamites don't have a soul, it's because they lost it in Hosea. I can't remember the actual quote. And I think if you look at Genesis 6:3, it was lost. You can lose your soul. Yeah, in fact, we did a video that it's called Conscious Being, that explains about the soul. And you only lose your soul, and those Canaanites lost their soul when they mixed with the Homo Porcine and the Homo Simian and the Homo Canine. That's why, because the higher levels of nine ether can only be reached by beings that have elevated to that level. And even those, that nine is dealing with nine levels. So you're dealing with 9 to the 9 power of 9. So your soul, you can lose it. I gave an example previously where it's like a good analogy is like when you have your phone, right? The soul of the phone is the battery when you charge it up. And you can see the bar on your phone when your phone is like, let's say it's 100% charged. It normally has the bar, you see the battery icon, right? And when it's fully green, let's say that's your soul fully charged. And you can use your phone and you don't have to plug it in and charge it up, as long as you still have life in that battery. But as you're watching it go down, it's depleting and you're using your phone, and it can get to a point where there's no more juice left and it goes to red and then it just dies. Then the phone, you can't use the apps, it's useless until you what? Recharge it. Now, if you never ever recharge that phone again, it won't come on and you won't be able to use it. So it's in effect dead, even though it has the ability to be recharged. Now, most people, that light is called the soul or the solar plex. Yeah? So that solar plex is the energy that keeps you alive. It's what provides what we call the burning, because you're taking in oxygen when you breathe in and you're giving off carbon dioxide, which is taking that energy and burning it. It's like fuel. And then you're getting carbon, which is a residue of burning. So we call that the burning. So when you breathe on yourself and you go, you feel that heat. But when that battery dies, you become cold and you don't have a soul, but you can still live if you have a spirit. This is the concept of the walking dead, because there are people walking around that their battery, their soul, has been depleted to the point where unless they get a jump start, you know, like when your car breaks down, you can still start it because it's gone so cold. This is why those who don't have a solar plex, they have a lunar plex, because a lunar doesn't have the light. It reflects the light. And then they say when you're crossing over, your body gets cold because that life force, that sun has left, and then rigor mortis sets in. I'm saying that to say that people can lose their soul by what they do, because the more you expose yourself to negative six ether forces that are vibrating on a lower level, they're sucking and taking that life force from you. Yeah. And you know, when you don't sleep and recharge your melanin through the time when you should be getting your, you know, you got melatonin and you got your serotonin, like these are you to charge up your soul. Or you can do wicked things and disagreeable things, being affected by walk-ins and beings that you're porous, meaning you have pores in your body. They can literally, it's gas forces or six ether leviathan, negative six ether spirit forces that can come into you, affect you, and then leave. All right, so I'm saying that to say you can lose your soul, you can charge it up, or if you then mix or go with a being that can help you recharge that soul. And in the Bible, they tell you that David lost his soul and he recharged it by music, by playing the harp. You see, so you need Wu-Sabat, you need that jump start, you need something that gives you the purpose again to go, I need to start cleaning up myself, stop hanging out all hours of the night in the places I don't need to be, with the wrong company, eating bad things, doing bad things, listening to bad music. And now you're going to start to do spiritual things which are going to help you recharge. And that's if your battery is not dead to the point where, because even with the car battery, no matter how you try to jumpstart it, sometimes it's like, boy, this battery's done. You have to go back to Halfords or wherever. You need to go and buy a new battery. So, yeah, that's to answer that question about the soul and, yeah, if you can recharge or get it. So you do have it, you lose it, and you can recharge it or get it back. Or not, depending on you. Right, let's keep going.
There's someone said,
Ubura Melvin, can you explain to me why I normally feel this energy on the front side of my head, and whenever I meditate, I feel this energy and heat inside of me? Yeah, this is tying into what we were just kind of, we didn't go into it, but we were talking about these seats. These seats that people call chakras are those seats that are vibrating, and the energy centers, in fact, vortexes, but they superimpose your glands. So, you know, when we say things like the solar plexus and the pituitary and the pineal gland, and these are all glands, but they are actually energy centers as well, called chakras, that we, when you're meditating and doing spiritual practices, you can feel that heat we just spoke about, like the solar plexus and so on. Okay. Greetings, caller. Where are you calling from, and what's your name? What's your question, please?
Wild back.
well, about.
Row back.
Hey, what's up, man? This is Jamil, calling from Atlanta.
Greetings, row back.
Greetings. Yeah, I remember being on here last time, and I told you about something about genealogy, DNA tracing. Yeah, so I found the guy's name, and his name is Dr. Nathaniel Jeeson, or Dr. Nathaniel Thomas.
Okay.
And he made a book called Trace. In his book, he did DNA testings of ancient mummies, so ancient Egyptians, and then did a tracing with that, like to trace how far back, what haplogroup you have, depending on how far back you can go to, right? And in his book, he was explaining that during the late, I want to say 4th century, that it was a lot of Arabs genealogy mixed with European genealogy that took over that land during that period of time. But when he went back to 1400 BCE, he discovered that a lot of the Egyptian had West African to Central African DNA. And a lot of people who are called Kushites or Amun, or other names as well, they have East African DNA. So it goes back to my question: is that if it's true that most of the upper ancient Egyptians were Western Central Africans, and modern day Sudan, Ethiopians, and so forth, whereas the Kushite people. What do you think about how it became today, and why do you think that they are saying that Coptic Egyptians are the real Egyptians, or do you see these people who have European DNA as the real Egyptians? And so I wanted to ask that question, and what's your thoughts on most of the ancient Egyptian having Western and Central African DNA?
Okay. I mean, first of all, we're going to have to study and look at what you're referring to ourselves, because not fully familiar with it. But what I do know that is tied into your question, I mean, firstly, when they say Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt, it's actually back to front for a start. But yeah, there's this whole push for people to get their DNA tested, and like we spoke about, different websites, ancestral and so on, that are not accurate, but they have published something, especially for the general DNA results for what they term, obviously, African Americans, Caribbeans, and beings on South Central America. And in that, you're right that they say the majority of the DNA ends up with West African, right? So you would have something like 74.6% of the DNA testing that these people, African Americans, etc., are from West Africa, and then you have the next kind of percentage is, I mean, look at that, it's a big amount, 74 or so, 75%. Then you have like, you know, the Western, what they call Eurasian, which is like 18.2%. And then you're going to have North Africa with like 5%. And then East Eurasian with like 1.4%, and Central Africa like 0.8%. But again, like I said, like we don't really, the master says don't trust anything they say and give it back and don't believe it. But that's what they're saying. Of course, like I said, we would have to look. And when you say West Africa as well, like the highest percentage was Nigeria, surprisingly. But actually, it does correlate a little bit when you look at a lot of the like scientists and people like in the Western Hemisphere. A lot of the time, when people look at black people, they will just automatically say you're either Nigerian or Ghanaian, right? Like there aren't others like Senegal, Gambian, and like everyone just talks about Nigerians and Ghanaians all the time, pretty much. Then you know you hear a bit of people from Sierra Leone and so on and so forth. But like I said, we'd have to look more into the details. If you can share that, if you're in our Telegram group or in the chat, in the comments, post a link to that and we can kind of research it a little bit more. But
it kind of, for me, it kind of goes back to tribalism, right? Because if you look at our Haba group, even though we're different in culture, we seem to have the same blood type. Like we seem to have come from a original man in a sense, right? We all came from like even
we came from gods.
Yeah, like even even in Nigeria they have like Igbo,
right,
Yoruba, but they all are they're all one haplogroup in DNA. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So as an African American, even though I had never been there and my ancestors never been there in centuries, we still fit that same haplogroup. So I'm thinking maybe the cause is that we just differentiate ourselves by tribalism and not by noticing that we are really one big family.
Absolutely. Yeah, and this is what we're saying, that in terms of, it's not about the names and the locations of places that you've, accepted. And we have an actual fact called who you are, not what you have accepted. And who you are is really, really based on your DNA. And this is why, like, in the world now, they're really classifying the three major races, the root races, being that the African, being the Homo naledi and the Homo habilis. You have the Denisovan and the Homo florensis being the Asian, and then you have the Neanderthal and the Cro-Magnon being the European. So this is why it's more about the DNA. It's more about the DNA than like the tribes, the tribe and this and that. It's really, really about us. We're one people based on our DNA. Because that whole thing about location and tribe is that it just creates division, where you have people in America today that are saying, I'm not African. And, you're saying like, okay, where do you come from?
You gotta explain, like, for us, it's like, the reason why we say we're not African is because, like, we noticed that a lot of countries in Africa was started in 1960, but we came here from 1619, so, like, we've been here for a long time, like, just as much as any European American, and they don't call themselves European American, they call themselves American.
That's right.
So we've been here just as long as them. That's why we don't classify ourselves as African. But we don't say like, hey, we're not descendant of African. We're not saying that. We're just saying we're not African because we've been in America.
Yeah, none of us are African really. This is what we're trying to say. Like, we're wu-nuwapians. We're not even African, because we know that that's a construct.
Curse word, man.
Yeah, it's afaf reye ka'u. That's the tones we use. But when you're saying African, it goes back to, as we said, the divisions from the invasions from, colonizers and other people, saying that the Arabs use that term, Afrika or Afarika, from Farka, which means the divide. So we're just basically saying let's focus on the things that unite us as Sabians, on our DNA or Nuwapians, and come together. Because if you're following, and I use this example all the time because it's the way to clarify it. Like I say, if somebody's born on a plane in the middle of an ocean, where they're gonna say they're from?
You didn't get that.
Did you get what I'm saying? So yeah, this is what I'm saying. So it's about really the DNA, and you're right. And the DNA will tie you all the way back. You said, we're men, but man is a lower form of a human. And then you go up and you're going to get to coming down from a supreme being to a being, to a man, to a mammal, to a human, to a man, to a mammal,
Beast.
to a beast, to a demon. So there are different classifications. So when someone says mankind, you're literally saying a kind of a man.
Shit.
But who are you talking about? Yeah. So
But that goes back to, okay, the reason why I didn't say Nuwapian is because that is a country, that is a that's a location basically.
no, it's not. That's what I'm saying. The word nu goes to the word gold, which ties into your blood, as in the blood in terms of the golden blood that you have, or we call mafkuzet, and deals with what people call the elixir of life, which is that which makes you able to travel intergalactically back to where you come from, which is really going back to the stars. So when we say Saba or Sabian, we're talking about Sabat or Sabaat, dealing with the stars of Orion and Sirius. So we're not really even from this planet if we want to really go there. That's why I said we're actually deities or gods that have manifested and come here.
Yeah, that's where you lost me, man.
I knew, yeah, that's what I'm saying. We deal with it from a worldwide global perspective, and not only on the planet, but beyond the planet. Because that's why when people are talking about gods are in heaven, they're talking about us. We are those beings from Orion and from the Sirius star constellations that seeded this planet.
Well, I kind of agree with you to a certain extent, because I think we all come from stardust in a sense that like whatever's in the universe is something we have. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's what I'm saying. You are composed of everything in the universe.
That's it. Especially being 9 ether.
You just lose me with the we came from there, we came from Orion.
Yeah, you have to do a bit more research.
Yeah.
Because why? All right. Why does the pyramids in Egypt line up perfectly with the belt of Orion?
That's it.
But you can easily explain that and be like, they did that because they want to.
Who did that?
A certain star.
No, you said they did that. Who did that?
Khufu or Sunufu.
No. But they're descendants of these beings, but they're descendants of the beings, but to be able to line it up like that perfectly, you can't do that unless you're looking from an aerial view.
Well, I don't know. I disagree with that. I think they just like pinpointed, I think they used the ground to pinpoint the star. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm kind of like.
Well, that's speculation, and you can disagree, but as we always say, people can agree or disagree, but it doesn't change the facts. And we have a whole load of, books and information breaking down who these beings that built the pyramids are. Now, today, in the news, people are they're still speculating, and they've used technology to look at what they say is under the pyramids, right?
Let me ask you this.
Yeah, go on.
Let me ask you this then. So, do you think all human beings came from that location, like came from people call ancient Egypt or Nuwapian, or we was all what you call them?
It's not what I think, it's what the scientists are actually proving now. So when before we even get to the stars, now they're telling you everyone comes from Africa. And they specifically, the Sands people have all the genetic traits of everyone on the planet. They can trace them back to the Sands people of South Africa because when the beings came and they came from the waters, right? They were like in the location of what people call the Egg Island before coming out and going on to land into what predominantly is what they call Africa today, or Ghana at the time. And you look at the migration, we have a scroll. You grab a scroll that gives you the map of how the migration took place from original beings. So even without getting that deep, they will tell you the DNA, the oldest and where everyone comes from is, as I said many times, from the Homo habilis and the Homo naledi, which is the African.
But okay, then my question would be, if that's the case, then do you call them the Nuwapians because they seem to have everybody DNA and they seem to not come from that location in a sense. You know, they came from South Africa.
No, I'm saying, but Africa is still Africa. South Africa is Africa.
Yeah, but you know, when you say Nuwapian, I'm thinking.
Yeah, but I'm saying that they're using terms that's not in our language. So they're not going to use the terms that we used in our language because, like you say, we have to be the ones that teach the information because many don't have knowledge of the information we're teaching today.
Okay.
And they're going to find out and discover as we keep teaching and telling people, because everything we've said in the last 50 years, before it was breaking news in the it's in this one, in the it's in the Proverbs of Yanun. Before it was breaking news, we already said it. So they're catching up, and we are going to keep pushing the bar. And it's in that one, the Proverbs.
Yeah, there's another one as well.
My brother's trying to find a book that gives you the map, which we can share with you. Yeah, that one. It's right at the beginning.
You know, I didn't mean to go off topic here, but you know, with my teachers out here in America, they said that you know, new come from shu. Like I don't know if you know shu.
Shu. That's what I'm saying. That's coming from the Egyptian shu, meaning the wind.
And then that Nu come from his daughter named Nu, and he named the city called Nu. That's what I've been told.
Yeah, I know, but like I said, we have the oldest language on the planet where these words come from. So they're not going to know because that nun comes from nun, as in anun. So in ancient Egypt, you're taught about the motion of the sun, because obviously the sun is paramount in the beings on the planet, and they teach you about what they call the rising and setting of the sun, even though we know the sun doesn't rise or set. So they go through this motion of atum, and then to atun, which is the top, the middle part, and then it goes down to amun. Right? And these three are what most talk about, but they don't talk about what's referred to by beings that study more of the esoteric stuff called Anun. Anun is that part where you're in the dark or coming from the waters. That's where you're getting that word that you're saying nu or nun. But there's a book called Actual Fact number 46, right? That it's called Intelligent Design, Divine Design, or Plot of Aliens. And yeah, it shows you, let me just, I don't know if you can see, let me put it to the camera. It can, when you replay and watch this, you might be able to catch that. But it explains to you how these beings came and landed in where you call the Antarctica today. And ironically today, recently there have been videos circulating where, you know, they've gone to the Antarctica and they're finding ancient civilizations and buildings. So this was before the Ice Age, and that was referred to as Nuwapia. Yeah, that was a landing site. where the egg island, and then from there you have beings going out into the Indian Ocean, where the human seed was placed here. And then, it goes on, it goes all the way to the Kalahari Desert, tying into, as you said, the Sands people, the first people, or the Sand people, or the newborns. So that word you're talking about, newborns, this is where the word newborns became Nubia.
Yeah, that's right.
And then, but that newborns is tying into that Nuwabon or Nuwapia. Yeah, so then those Sands people is how, ironically, you get them different branches going off into Niger, and then the separation into two people where you go Niger going into Wasabi, and then on the other side you go into Kenya, Sudan, Ethiopia, Dongala, or where you get the Dongalawi tribe from, and then they go into different directions, and to the left you get Malians, Syrians, Senegalians, to what you call America, Atlanteans or Native Americans. You see, so there's so much information to this, but like I said, we are dealing with the DNA of those beings and how they came from that Antarctica egg island to spread into what you're calling Africa.
So do you really think that we came from a different planet, or like we came from a different?
Of course,
extraterrestrial?
yeah, because where do you go back to when you're supposedly what they call dying, or we say crossing over? Where are you going?
When you die? To me, I just say darkness.
Right, where's darkness?
Darkness.
Let me tell you, I'm gonna wrap it up for you real quick because we've got another call waiting. Darkness,
My bad.
yeah, it's fine. You have something, darkness begins in 3 levels called triple darkness.
Yep.
The first darkness is the one in the womb. When you're in the womb, you're being grown in darkness, right? Then when you come out onto the planet Earth, you're inside the Earth, but you still experience darkness, which people refer to as the night. You go day and night, but it's really darkness. It's a shadow state because it's a shadow covering the sun.
Shadow hour.
Shadow hours, right? That's inside the planet. Now, when you come, that's second. So you got the first one, that's second, and then the third one is when you come off outside the planet, and you're still surrounded by darkness. Because when you look at the billions of stars, they're surrounded by darkness, and it tells you in the scriptures that God created the light, and light are stars, and the speed of light travels at 186,272 feet per second
Yep.
in darkness, and it cannot escape.
How the hell you know that?
It cannot escape the darkness. And then this is where they say that God said, "Let there be light." So if God said, "Let there be light," where was He residing? He dwells in darkness.
That's right.
This is where you return to. But yeah, I mean, study Wu-Sabat, and you will get the answers. We have the master teacher, partner Nababia Nun, doesn't leave any stones unturned. All right, but we're gonna,
Progress, man. I'm progressing. You know what I'm saying?
that's good. Tawat, Wadu.
Yeah. Also, I'd like to say, like, it seems like all the other races on the planet, they tell the story of how beings came from other planets. So why can't we have beings that come from another planet as well? Why can't we be extraterrestrials, which we are? But yeah.
All right. I just want to say, before I take this next call, LA storyteller, Horus Ra, we want to appreciate, love your donation. Thank you very much. Okay,
thank-
so caller, what's your name, where you calling from, and what's your question, please?
Hi, Saken and Asaru. This is Rita. I'm calling from the San Francisco Bay Area.
Rahubat.
Rahubat. My question is this. You mentioned a few minutes ago about our mission, and I was wondering, or that we are reincarnating to accomplish our mission. I wanted to know if this mission that we have as individuals, is it driven by our own desires and interests? Are those of our ancestors, if that makes sense?
You are your ancestors. Meaning your DNA is connected to them, and you are them, and you hear their voices when you're making decisions in your head. So
True.
when you have that drive, sorry, go ahead. Was you going to say something?
Uh-huh. Well, yeah, and I absolutely agree with you. I was wondering though if our mission is something like, you know, accomplishing, creating a business or getting a degree. Are those the kinds of missions, or is it a mission that's far broader?
It is far
I
broader.
would okay. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like unifying with one another.
Yep.
Is okay.
So
All right.
you have an individual mission, which is that which drives you, and it may take a while
Yes.
for you to accomplish or find that what that is. That's like your purpose, and you know, and sometimes you're led astray, or you know, you go in a different direction, and that's not your mission. So you'll find a situation where people, like their parents might be like, because they're motivated by money, they'll be like, you're gonna go and be a doctor, you're gonna be a lawyer, you're gonna be an accountant, and the person absolutely hates that, you know, career that their parents are choosing for them. They may just want to be something, do something creative, and no matter what, that's what
Yes.
they're driven to do. So some people might just want to help people, you know, and so it's for you to find out, and it could be your ancestors that will lead and guide you to, you know, you could be like, I wanted to be a pilot, but I've ended up being something else, which is more helpful.
Yes.
But collectively, we have a mission to liberate and free our people.
That's right.
And that starts
Yes.
with us, like you said, coming together, love and unity, and then freeing Parnababyanun. That's a mission for all of us. And then obviously
Yes, for
him
sure.
being freed means we're free. It means humanity's free, because
right.
then, you know, he can help guide this world. He's been doing that anyway, in terms of helping it to, you know, deal with this new changes that are coming into the world. And he's been covering
Yes.
information that relates to that, which is extraterrestrial information, our culture, our language, and the many things that that we still have to do to basically solve the problems of the world. And you know, that's
Yes.
how deep it is. But yeah, did that answer your question?
Yes, it did. And my last question is this, you know, as you've mentioned, yes, there's a lot that's happening in the world, and the talk of, or, you know, people, the whole entire grid shutting down. I wanted to know if, um, in terms of the master teacher, I've understood that the extraterrestrials had to intervene at some point when there was a bomb that was detonated years ago, but they intervened. You know, are the six ether beings trying to destroy the entire planet and ultimately moving themselves elsewhere? I'm just
Exactly.
wondering, because you know you hear so much, and I know I'm in Wu-Sabat to prepare myself and those I'm speaking to, but I just wanted to know, they can't destroy the planet because is it true that they can't destroy the planet because destroying this planet would disrupt the entire galaxy? Is that true?
Exactly,
The
and
Holocaust.
that's why. But it's been done in the past. The fate of the
Yeah.
planet has been judged many times, so it is possible. But that's why we're here, and like, the more people are aware of these more important things, instead of like the mundane things to deal with racism and wars and religion, they will realize that we have a common interest, which is the planet. And so it's
Yes.
about bringing awareness to everyone, because humanity is at a very critical point now where it can survive or it can be destroyed. And you're right, extraterrestrials and certain beings are trying to guide us. And Parnababyanun is one of those extraterrestrials. He came on the scene saying, I'm an extraterrestrial from the planet Risk. He's the only person I've known to come on the scene saying, I'm an extraterrestrial from the planet Risk. I've been sent here to guide you. You're all on a destructive path. If you don't give up these books and these extraterrestrials that are telling you all these false information, you guys are heading for destruction. And in 2025, we're hearing people talking about nuclear weapons and weapons that can potentially destroy the planet. But those of us, because remember, it's also about the conscious and the vibration that we all have on the planet that creates that energy that will get rid of six ether forces. Six ether forces are dissipating because their time is up. But you do have beings like, excuse me, you know, like some people might be like, I'm in a relationship, it's ending, and if I can't have her or if I can't have him, I'm gonna take them out, take myself out, take the children out. No one else is gonna have you, you know. And it's like it's that type of mentality that they have. And the master put out something many years ago called Alternative 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Alternative 1 was they tried to use genocide and destroy us and people on the planet, but it didn't work. And so alternative 2, they were going to try and go into the
Caverns
underground, the subterranean world. But they realized when they went, there were other beings already there, extraterrestrial beings that have been there for millions of years and living, and they didn't want them there. So the alternative 3 is we got to get out of here. And so they're preparing to leave and destroy the planet if possible. So, but there are others who don't want that to happen. So they will also intervene and step in. And that's what we are. We're those beings also that we're trying to, but it's hard to wake up the majority of people. They say they want the truth until they get it, which means they have to actually come out of their comfort zone and do the work themselves to raise their energy and their vibration. And then all of a sudden, you know, they don't want to leave Mickey D's and all the comforts that they think, you know, that is good for them, but it's actually really bad for them, you know. So, I don't know. Sorry, you wanted to add on?
It would be lovely if they could just go quietly and maybe see.
Oh, there enough.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's not the case. I wanted to know, in the selection process of the 144,000, is it our ancestors? Now, I agree, we are our ancestors, but who is, like, do we have individuals that are literally viewing us?
Of course,
and
yes.
looking at our actions?
Yes, yes. We have, they're known as the Palm of
I
Taru.
always thought of that as a kid.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, this is where the concept of angels watching over you, and in Islam when you're praying, turning to the left and the right of your shoulders to talk about your good, and you know the angels. They even tell you that Father Christmas watches the children to give them presents if they're good or bad. This is the level that they distort things, but you're definitely right. It sounds like you might want to do a one-to-one with me, because you know I do the one-to-one.
I do.
Okay,
I
so
totally do.
yeah, because you have some really good
online?
questions. Yeah, we can do it. We can do it remotely from wherever you are. Yeah, so
Okay, I'll
reach out.
sign up for that.
Yeah, and we'll hook that up.
I
So
will.
because your questions are very good and they help other people learn as well. So yeah, we appreciate of you.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you to you both.
All right.
All right.
Right.
Right. Black Adam, we want to appreciate love you for your donation. And you said thank you for freeing minds and connecting the dots. That's our job.
Yeah.
That's our job. And thank you, because without you, there wouldn't be us.
Yep.
It's, you know, it's the demand, and we're really, really like reaching people all across the world. And you guys can help by doing the same, each one teach one. All right. So we're coming to the, look at that, 21. 9. So we're coming to that last 9 minutes. So if you haven't asked a question, you can get your questions answered in the last 9 minutes. You got any more questions there?
My thing's
Oh, yeah, that's because my alarm came on. 21. Okay, let's do this. Okay. I've kind of lost mine as well now. Oh, there you go. Can you find the
Yeah.
questions from? I've lost it. Hey,
How you doing,
Kaiser.
guys?
Rahubat.
Kaiser? Hey, it's Kaiser. Rahubat.
Rahubat.
Is that you?
Tua. Anuki.
Toha. Toha. Look, how you doing? How you doing, brother?
Doing my best, man. Like, always a pleasure to talk Wu-Sabat to the world every time. So, yeah, doing our best. How are you?
Yes, I'm very well. I'm very well. Everyone is doing very well. You know, I'm watching you guys live, so I was like, yo, I just got to catch you right before you
Yeah.
close and everything. Well, you know, if you could see me right now, I'm wearing a hoodie with Planet Risk on it.
Okay.
3 suns, the blue, red, and yellow. So maybe we could talk next time. But I love Planet Risk
Yeah.
and everything. So I really was warning about. Have you heard of a woman called Miss Sophia Stewart? I wanted to know more about her. She wrote the books about the Matrix, like
Yeah.
movies about Terminator. So I definitely would love for you, appreciate love if you could break down Miss Sophia Stewart, because where she got that information from, she was so intelligent, and they stole the movie rights.
That's right.
For the new Matrix, and then the last one was very bad, a bad movie, so they changed it. So I'd like to know that. That's my question, and that was
Right.
my mind for the past couple of days.
Sure.
Thank you, bud.
Yeah, I know she, they stole the brothers that became sisters. they stole her, yeah, because she wrote the Terminator as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but this is what we're saying, that when you're in tune with your ancestors or with the higher beings, they can, I don't want to use the word inspire you, but they can speak through you. They can guide you, and you can get information coming through once you're tapping into that mental reservoir. So in terms of writing and her writing, yeah, she was very much in tune, as are most of us, when we tap into, we've got another call. Okay, when we tap into that higher being or a higher consciousness. Greetings, caller.
Greetings.
Right, where you calling from? What's your name? What's your question, please?
Okay, my name is Lenita. I'm calling from Brooklyn. My question is, I'm from the Caribbean, small island, St. Lucia, and I wanted to know, we hear about the Anunnaki and all these extraterrestrial beings. Are they connected to the islands at all? Sometimes you hear about them in Africa, you hear about them all over, but I want to know the connection. Do they have any connection with the Caribbean?
Yeah, remember, the people from the Caribbeans have descendants of the people from Africa anyway. So they in connection with, they affected pretty much everyone on the planet. But you also have our ancestors, the Panatharu, who were before the Anunnaki, and they have a connection to us as well. Some of us are mixed with the Anunnaki, you see.
Okay.
I think your TV or whatever it's coming back through. So if you could turn it down just a little bit.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so we keep emphasizing it's not about where you are, as in the location. It's more about your DNA and where does your DNA come from, and where does that DNA ties into. And like we keep saying, the Panatharu have children on this planet, and those children are the ones that are more than likely going to resonate with Wu-Sabat, because it's their way of life, it's their culture, and your DNA would be triggered. You have something called a DNA explosion when you hear the truth and hear the words of your ancestors, the Panatharu, who speak through, and one of them is known as Yanun. He's the one that guides the pen of Malachi to write the books and to speak. And when you hear his tones or you read a scroll, it has an effect on you from your DNA. So these, when we're saying Anunnaki, we're just talking about these extraterrestrial beings, different groups of them that came to this planet at a point in time. and then they were referred to as the Anunnaki, or those beings that Anu, who was their leader, you know, he sent them down to this planet, and they came in groups of 50 on a mission where they were looking for gold. And when you look at the Caribbean islands, if you were to put the map together, you see that those islands broke off from like South America and, you know, these different bigger places where these Anunnaki were actually quite prominent. So you see that, yeah, that's how they ended up being split up, and with the continental drift, and you know, people just kind of separated. But if you were to put the map back together, this is something they refer to as Pangea, where they put all the pieces back together, and you will find out that you know, the central place where they arrived and landed would be the center, what they call Ganawa, Africa, but they came from the water to that part and then spread across the world, and then eventually with what they call slavery, kidnapping, people ended up in the Caribbean, in Jamaica. And so that's why we keep saying that it's about your DNA, and DNA is that which will tell everybody on the planet what you're made up of, what you're composed of, and you know, how you ended up to be where you are. All right?
Okay. Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
We appreciate, love you too.
Okay, bye.
Wadu. Last 2 minutes. Right, we're going to do a lottery. I noticed Black Adam didn't really ask a question, but we're still, we're really grateful for your donation and for your kind words. Thank you for freeing the minds and connecting the dots. All right, we're going to do a lottery. I'm just going to just spin it and see what questions come up for the last question. Here we go. Brrr, stop. Okay. Rahubat, it's Ray Sananda Pa Jedi, also known as Curtis, just checking in, showing my Ashok. Yeah, that's why I said Ashok. Yeah, you got the last word, bro. Now, remember, for anyone who would like to have a one-to-one, we've made it accessible to anyone on the planet because we have the internet, you know, so contact us and express your interest. We did one with a sister called Jumi, which was very nice, very good conversation. And share the videos. Please share the videos. You're helping us so much because we need the world to know about Parnabab Yanun. We need to know about his plight. We need everyone to help and do their part. That's right. We'd like you to like, share, subscribe so that you can be the first to watch all the videos and be alerted to anything that we're doing. And trust me, we're working on so many things that will help us progress as a people. And when I say a people, anyone who is on the Wu-Sabat, who wants peace and unity, love and unity on the planet. And we'd like you to definitely, there's nothing more you can do best than to read and study the scrolls and join our Telegram group, the official OSM Vision Ask Us Anything Telegram group. All right, so until the next one, next week, same time, same place. Wadu.
Wadu Moisa. Peace.